record. Who's chatting? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to just share my screen. Share sound.
Chat. Are you ready to roll? I think Selena already asked you that. All right, we're ready. Good. So I'm just going to start with something.
Sorry, guys, I don't know why it was doing that. Was it all wobbly for you too? I don't know why it was doing that. It wasn't doing it when I played it on my thing. But anyway, it was pretty powerful. And I know when I saw it the first time, I actually cried. But it didn't have that quite same impact with it all flickering like that. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to go over, there are 4 main beliefs that actually hold us back. So really good idea if you've got a pen and paper, you want to be really writing these things down because you want to make some big changes on this. I'm just going to see and pull this up. And Soul Tribe. Okay. Okay, so when we talk about beliefs and things like that, so mainly what we are talking about tonight is we're talking about money beliefs, okay? Because I know for a lot of us, believe me, it happens to me as well. I mean, my money beliefs are a lot better now than when I first started. I've had years of working on them and changing them. But this is really important. If you're feeling really stuck in your business, if you're feeling really stuck in your life in general, it's always to do with what stories you're telling yourself. What are your beliefs? And there are 4 key beliefs that a lot of us think about, or a lot of us have unconsciously, that are really tied in with our money stories. So first belief is, and please let me know if you put it in the comments, if you totally relate to these, if you can relate to these. I'm just going to talk through a little bit about these. So number 1 is someone else should or would or will do this for me. So in other words, think about your money. And, you know, for me, so we can look at this in 2 different ways. For a lot of people, we go, oh, well, it's all right. My husband's going to do it, or my mum's going to do it, or, you know, this, or my accountant's going to do it. Or I know for Tammy, if Tammy was on here tonight, she'd be like, oh, yeah, my accountant can do it. She's been ignoring it for years. But think about, you know, in terms of your finances, when you think about your finances. Now, another thing is, for me, I'm always the one that does the money, but this is also avoidance to even look at it. Say, for example, for me, I tend to think, oh yeah, the law of attraction will look after that. The universe is going to look after that for me. I don't have to worry about looking at it. It's going to be looked after by, so it's not actually a person, but it can be something else. And so that's a way of avoiding looking at your finances and where they're at. So this is just like an avoidance belief around, well, if I don't look at it and someone else is looking after it, then I don't have to take responsibility for it. And often it's because we're scared. It's too scary to even take responsibility for our own finances. And so something that is that will really help that is, I'll talk about in a mo with number 2. So how many of you guys can relate to this in terms of whether you're thinking, yeah, leave it to the universe or leave it to someone else? Yeah, most of us can do that. Okay, the second one, I'm not good with money. Okay, I see you smiling, Kerry. I'm not good with money. Now, this is really, really, this is a really big one because, I mean, I don't say this because I'm actually really good at money, so it's not my thing. But something that I think can also work for the first one around, avoiding it and not taking responsibility for your money is to start by taking really small actions every day. And it might just be that, for example, you decide that you're going to check your account every day. And one of the things, and I've talked a little bit about this before, is what we want to do is when we have a negative experience or when we have a negative feeling attached to a situation, and it might be that every time you look at your bank account, you think, I have no money. How am I going to pay my bills? And all this fear comes up around it, and I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. Every time you go to look at your money, that same fear is going to come up because that's the meaning that you've attached to it. So what you want to do is change the meaning that's attached to it so that every time you go back to it, the meaning gets more and more positive. This takes time. This takes practice. So another small thing that you can do every day is when you check your money, look at your account, and instead of feeling like, how am I going to pay these bills? I don't have enough money to come out. Look at it and find something to be grateful about the abundance that you have either in your account or in your life. So something that money has brought you. So whether it be that you see your Juice Plus pay in there and how grateful you are that you've got this extra income coming in, right? Or it might be that your normal job pay has gone in there. Or it might be that you have a home that you're living in. Or it might be that you are, able to buy groceries and feed your kids. Whatever it is, find something that you're grateful for. Now, one of the things that they talk about is finding 3. Oh, that's the next one. That's the next one. So gratitude is a really important thing. So the more that every time you go and you check your money, it might just be that's your task that you do every day, so that you can actually see and keep an eye on it and where it's at. Make sure that you're feeling gratitude for where it's at. And every time that little feeling of worry comes up, replace it. Okay, I'm really grateful right now that my Juice Plus pay is gone in, or I'm really grateful that I've got that bonus, or I'm really grateful that our mortgage comes out every month, So things like that, be grateful for it. Okay, number 3, people with money are greedy, or it's not spiritual to have money. Those were both totally me. Totally me. How many can relate to that?
Can you repeat that, Tony?
It's not, so people with money are greedy, or it's not spiritual to have money.
Thank you.
Okay, so with this one of the things we've got to remember is that money is a stand-in for what we value. So money gives us an opportunity to purchase the things or experience the things that we really value. So we've got to look at money as being a value exchange instead of it being a thing that makes us all I don't know, whatever it is that you have stories around it, you want to change the way you think about it, and you've got to look at it as a value exchange. So for example, you are offering a customer your product, right? You're offering your customer a product because they're not feeling well. So they might be really unwell. And what you're doing is you're saying, here, you can have this. I really want to support you. That is great value for them because that's what they need in their life right now. So that is what they're looking for. So you're giving them value by giving them the product. And then they are saying, thank you so much, by returning the money to you. So it's a value exchange. So whatever you put on that, whatever you are gifting, you are receiving something back. It's just the law of attraction. It's what you do. You give, you receive. That's how it works. Now, another way to look at this, so, you know, when we think about the people with money are greedy, this was totally my thing. That was my story for a very long time. So when we hold a judgment about someone, it's an assumption. So that means that our subconscious will never allow us to have what we want if we're judging other people for having it. Do you understand what I mean? So if you're judging someone for being greedy because they've got lots of money, then how is your subconscious going to go, oh, yeah, you should have this, because why would I give it to you if you think that people with money are greedy? Do you know what I mean? Why should I have this if everybody that's got it are greedy? That means I'll be greedy, and I don't want to be greedy. So when you're thinking those thoughts, you're actually blocking yourself. Okay, you all look a bit confused. Please tell me if you don't know what I'm talking about. No? Okay, you got me. Cool. Okay, last one. And this is common. This is what most of us think. I'm not blank enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not savvy enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not wealthy enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not slim enough. I don't know. Put your own thing in there. But we've all got one of those stories, right, that we tell us. I'm not rich enough. I don't know. Whatever it is. So judging ourselves is actually not valuing ourselves. So every time you judge yourself, you're telling yourself that you're shit. And you are not valuing who you are as a person. So that means all we're going to do is receive the same back, right? So if we're going, well, I'm shit, then your subconscious is going, well, you're shit, so you can just receive shit. Do you know what I mean? And then of course, when you also, so your subconscious is, so for most of us, in fact, everything we do is based on our subconscious. Our subconscious drives us. That is what drives us. We might have some conscious ideas, but it's always our subconscious beliefs that drive us. And when we are thinking negatively like that, think about this too. Is the universe, with the law of attraction, what we're putting out there, you're also going to receive that back. So you're getting a double whammy. You've got your brain, your subconscious telling you that you're shit because you're telling it yourself that you're shit and that you're not enough. And then you've got the universe also reflecting the same thing back to you. So do you think you're going to have abundance if you're thinking like that? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So what you want to do is you want to change those. Now, one of the things that we suggest that you do around changing the I'm not whatever enough that is for you is write in a journal for 21 days. It takes 21 days to break a habit and make a new habit. So if you can do this for 21 days, it doesn't matter what time of the day you do it, but just find a journal or something and write 3 things you value about yourself. Every day, write 3 things you value about yourself. And I would challenge you to at least make one of them different every day, so that you're looking for lots of things that you value about yourself. So that over that 21 days, you'll have lots of things you value about yourself. The other thing is you want to write 3 ways you have added value to someone's life that day. So you might want to do maybe one in the morning and one at night. And it might be something really small. It might be that Oh, I did my own business launch tonight. That added value to someone's life, eh, Michelle? Or it might be that you smiled at somebody walking along the street who looked really sad. You gave them a smile, or you said hello to someone at the supermarket. Whatever it is. 3 things that you value, that you've added value, or 3 ways you've added value to someone's life. Now, what that's going to do for you is the more you do that and the more you start changing the way that you think about yourself and the way you perceive yourself, is it's going to bring you more opportunity to add value to people. So once you actually start noticing that, oh, actually, I do add value to people's lives. So every time you, I don't know, see someone in the street and you think, oh, I'm going to smile at that person instead of having a grumpy face because we're in a grumpy mood. Believe me, I've been there. Then you're going to go, oh, I'm going to smile at someone because I know that because I want to add value and it makes me feel good, right? And then what does that do? That brings it to us. So you're retraining your subconscious around the fact that you do value yourself, that you are enough, that you are smart enough, that you are pretty enough, that you are good enough, that you are wealthy enough, whatever that looks like for you. So that's pretty much it. Now, something else that I really wanted to share, and this is really going to help you guys for end of month. So, you know how we have we make up these stories in our head about how when people don't respond to our messages, and how we make up all these stories about, oh, they're just not interested, or, I've really offended them or something, we always make up these stories. Well, I have a little list of reasons. They may not be avoiding you. They may just be. Would you like to know what they are? So every time someone doesn't respond to your message, pull out this or put it somewhere where you can see it and go, oh, okay, they're probably doing one of these things, right? So then you're changing that story around what you're thinking and making it about them and not about yourself. So it's taking yourself out of that moment. Okay, so, oh, they might be overwhelmed with work. How many? Yeah, Michelle's nodding. You've been there, right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually going to put this up on my desk too, because I think this is great, because I need to be reminded of this stuff. It's really important. Finished? Processing a shock or trauma. I actually had someone message me the other day who was really keen to join the business a couple of weeks ago, and she was really keen, did the call and everything, and said, right, just put my stuff through, and we hadn't got the details sorted and everything. And she didn't get back to like 3 of my messages over the last 2 weeks. And I just responded to one of her stories. She sent me a message yesterday and she said, I'm so sorry. I've actually had my ex come in and verbally and physically abuse me and steal my wallet. And she said, I've just been a mess. So we don't know what's going on in someone's life. We just don't know. So processing a shock or trauma. Okay, putting some boundaries in place. This is a good one, right? So maybe, and for those of you who know me, who knows that I get a little bit obsessed with work, with this business, right? And it's hard for me to actually put my phone down. You guys know me, right? So what do? Put really healthy boundaries around me, and I go, after 10 o'clock, my phone is going down. I'm not going to answer any messages after 10. So I'm really sorry, guys, if you message me after 10 o'clock, it has to wait till the morning. So they may be doing the same thing. They may be putting those, okay, I'm not answering my phone after 9 or 10 o'clock at night, especially if they have kids. It might be this is family time, So, oh, thanks, Kieran. I've been doing it for a while, but I know that, and I think poor old Michelle, because she started when I started doing it. And so she would be messaging me after work, hey, Michelle, and then I wouldn't be responding. I think we might have lost her. Okay, next one. Dealing with an illness. Okay, now this is a really good one. Saving finances by not going out. So this could be like if they're saving finances and they really want, so, I've had this a few times where I haven't had people message me back after saying that they wanted to order the product. And then finally, after a few messages, they go, I'm really sorry, but I've just been saving for it. We've had a few bills come up. So that's a really good one. So saving finances by, not purchasing your product or whatever, just saving finances. Prioritizing family. Okay, distracted by an unexpected life change. How many of us have had this happen, right? All the time. Yeah. This one's for Maxine. Tired of having to put on a happy face. Yeah, that's the Maxine one. I should send it to her. You need to have that rule. Which rule is that, Michelle? Distracted by an unexpected life change or the boundaries? Oh, the boundaries.
Yeah, that 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I like work late around this business.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I need to go to bed.
Yeah. I think if you have, and the other thing that I find too, Michelle, is if I go to bed immediately after being on my phone, I'm wired. So you need some downtime off your screen before you actually go to bed for at least an hour, I reckon, before you go to bed as well. So we usually go to bed at 11. So 10 gives me a good hour off my phone. So, yeah. Okay, and needing some silence and space. So just remember, guys, that it's actually not about you. That most of the time it's about them and what's going on in their life. Don't ever take it personally. And, those are actually a really good opportunity to just go, hey, I'm thinking about you. I hope you're okay. Which I've done a few times today. So I guess now would be, just a good opportunity to, if you've got any questions around end of month, if you're trying to hustle for anything, if you're challenged in any area, please just sing out. You can come off mute if you want to. It's easier. You've had 2 of what this month, Sarah?
Those responses, they weren't avoiding me. I had one lady that she even asked for my website link, and she was going to have a look at the website, and she was passing on the link to her car mechanic, and she lives in America. And then I never heard anything else from her. It was like nothing. And then I saw on her Facebook that she put something on there about the unexpected death of her brother. And he actually died due to COVID over in America. And yeah, it totally blew me away. And it makes you sit back and think, well, it's not all about me. They've got their own lives. And then I had another one who wanted the program, and she was also quite keen to jump on board as a teammate. And then she went silent. And it's like, what the hell? And then I saw something on her Facebook page along the lines of, she needed somebody to help her move her things out of her home. And I messaged her and I said, what's going on? And she said that she was living in a motel room now because her partner gambled all their rent money. And it's like, and she said that was all the money, that was my money. I had it saved up because she did the Rev party for me. And she said, I saved up all that money to buy the capsules and jump on board with as a teammate. And then my partner gambled all the money. And it's like far out. So yeah, exactly right. I just thought that they'd just gone cold, but no, they had other shit going on in their lives.
That's right.
Yeah,
That sucks. And so that's when we can be that beautiful, caring person that we are, that to
Yeah.
support them where they are on their journey and just say, hey, so much love to you. I'm thinking about
Yeah,
you
I mean,
right
I've been
now.
in constant contact with them both over the last couple of weeks, but I've not discussed anything to do with the business. Like my
No.
friend in America, I've been talking to her about grief, and I've been sending her little poetry and things like that about a brother in heaven and that kind of thing. And with my friend in Parapram, I'm just simply been messaging her regularly, just touching in and saying, how are you? And is everything, oh, I'm still going to jump on board with the program. I said, I don't care about that right now. I just want to know that you're okay.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to discuss the business or the program with you. I just want to be a friend with you right now. So yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Sarah. That's what it's all about. Once we get into doing our local events again, she might want to come to our local event. If she's in Pram, she's down
She's
here.
actually got family back in Wanganui, so I think she's contemplating moving back to Wanganui. But yeah, I'll let her know when you do start doing your events again. Yeah.
That's the place to be, eh, Kerry? Yeah. All right, lovelies. Any questions? Anything you want help with for end of month?
I got a question.
Go for it.
So I've followed up with a couple of people, and but obviously they just don't. It's on the whole concept of the whole thing we're talking about, not replying.
Yep.
How long do I give it before, like, say, till I send them again? Like I went to a day, and then I sent them, "Are you okay?" kind of thing, like not "Are you okay?" but thinking of you kind of thing, and they haven't read it yet. So I'm aware that it's not me, but then I've spoken to some friends of hers, the girl, and apparently she's a bit of a loose unit at the moment. So I'm kind of like, what do I do? Because it's not really anything to do with her friends or anything, because it's how she wants to impact, if she wants to change her life or not.
Okay. So what was the initial messages about, honey? Was she interested in the program?
Yeah, she was the one that was interested in that Kickstart.
Right. Okay. And so when was the last, so you sent her one follow-up since you sent her?
So I sent her one on the 28th, sent her one 29th, and then today.
Okay. I'd leave it.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, because you don't want to look like you're a spammer.
Oh no, I didn't want to do that. I was like wondering,
Yeah.
do I just give it a week or so and then be like, hey, I've been thinking about you, kind of thing?
Yeah, I'd give it a week before you message her back. But what I would do in the meantime is I would go on to her post and I would, or a
I'm on it
stories
right
and-
now.
Yeah, and I would comment and love on something of hers that is genuine. So you want to be genuine. So if you don't like stuff she posts, then don't love and comment on it.
Yeah, she's not. It doesn't sound like she's actually doing well emotionally at the moment.
Oh, well, I
So
think
what I was
that's-
wondering is how long, like I want to help her past the program, if you know what I mean. Like I want to help her anyway.
Well, I would just leave it for a week. I'd leave
Okay.
it, and maybe after Easter, I would just pop her a message and say, hey, hun, I hope you're okay. I'm really worried about you. And I hope that,
Yeah.
you know, and I just want to let you know I'm here as a friend if you need
Yeah.
any support at all. And just
Yeah.
be your authentic self. It's the best way to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So we got to be careful. And generally what I do with follow-ups is, so, you know, if I've had a phone call with someone who's interested, or I've had a conversation with them and they've said, yeah, I'm going to, I want to order, or, you know, maybe you're waiting for their details to put their order through and then you don't get anything, then what I'll do is I'll usually send a message the next day and I'll say, hey, just wondering, you know, if you're still interested and whatever. And I would put some kind of urgency on it. So, because it's end of month at the moment, it's a really good way to put some kind of urgency on it. And I would say, look, I'm actually popping through some orders tonight and I know that you were keen on ordering. Would you like me to pop yours in now as well with those orders? Most people will come back to you. Now, if they don't come back to you, just leave it. And then I would usually leave it for about 4 or 5 days. And then I would say, hey, I know that last time we chatted, you were keen on giving our products a go so that you could insert pain here, whatever their pain is. And then, so make sure you know what their pain is. Just want to know, look, it's okay if you've changed your mind, but you know, I just want to check, see if that's still important to you and if you're still interested. Okay, and then there's other really cool gifts that you can also do, which is really fun, where you can just go, so if they've seen the message, you can send them after that 5 days, you can send them a little message saying, oh, hey, I've noticed that you've seen my message, but you haven't replied. And then you can do a little cryy gif or, you know, something like that, just a little funny cryy gif. And then go, I hope everything's okay with you. And every time people come back to me.
There's another trick, actually. I don't remember where I saw it from, but you can actually change the color of your chat. You know, when you go into your chat with the person that you're talking to, you can go into the eye and you can actually change the color of the chat. And then that chat comes to the top of their viewing list and their chats. And
that's
so
a good
you've
idea.
not actually said anything to them, but it's somehow, by changing the color, it's bumped it up to the top of their chat list.
And
Yeah.
they've noticed it. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good idea,
that's another
Sarah.
tip too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's really subtle.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't
That's
remember where I saw it. I saw it on what some training or something.
oh,
But yeah, just subtly go in there. I'm just on my phone now. And you just go up to the eye and then you can go to three. You go into there somehow and you change the color
the
of the
theme.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so subtle, but it pops it up to the start of the conversation.
So how many of you guys have done that to me? Is it because you wanted to bump our message up or something? Now I
That's an
know why you
idea,
do it.
ladies.
I don't know how. I know. Now I know what the story was all about. It's funny. Yeah, that's cute. Great idea. Any other questions? I just want to say too, Carrie, I know it's been a tough month for you, honey, but I just want to say how amazing you've done planting lots of seeds. That's what you've been doing. You know that, eh? Yeah. And you know, when you're doing the work anyway and you're not really getting the results that you were hoping to get, you're actually you're making progress. You are actually making progress because people are still seeing what you're doing. You're talking to them so they know what you're doing. And you know that work that you're doing now, and I think Kat even talked about this last night when she had Celine on, was about how what you're doing now will pay you probably in 2 to 3 months' time. So you might not see it now, but you will see it. So it does come. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you feel a bit shit.
Of course it does. Yeah. I
But
know.
also when I was listening to Celine last night, I was like, and she was like, you need to stop comparing blah 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 what angels, and I was just like, oh, that hit home.
It's true. Comparison is massive, and we have all been there, honey. I still compare myself to people all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And I know, I don't think there's anyone on this call right now who doesn't compare themselves with someone and think that they're not doing as well as someone else, you know? It's normal.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
really hard, and it's really hard to actually for someone to say don't compare, because it's naturally what we do, but it's about really, it's shining your own light and it's telling yourself how amazing you are, how awesome you are, how you've got this, and really going into the reason why you said yes to this to start with.
Stuff's getting a little bit shitter here, so I was kind of like in the last week just being like, I need this to work, like, you know what I mean, like that my why is just pretty important. And then I was like, I watched Celine, and that's when I was like, when they did say that it was be you a couple of months, and I was like, bring on a couple of months, like I've got this.
You have got this. You have got this. Yeah. And I think sometimes we're in that place of desperation, like, you know, you may have been around, I've got to get out of this situation. Then it means that it's easier for you to kind of block yourself because you're kind of really desperate to make it happen. You get frustrated because it doesn't happen. So step out of that as much as you can and step into gratitude and say, I'm so grateful I've been given this opportunity. I'm so grateful I've got a mirror in my life who's so supportive. I'm so grateful that, you know, that I have abundance in my life, that it is coming to me, you know. So stay there in that place. Yeah, and you'll do it.
I guess I can only blame myself, but at the end of the day, whilst I do congratulate the girls that do get promoted, at the back of my mind, it's like they're already promoted. I'm still partner. It's like that just goes on at the back of my mind. It's like, yeah, But at the end of the day, I can only blame myself for maybe not inviting or following up as often as I should.
Yeah, well, I think, it's normal for us to be looking at other people and saying, well, they're doing better than me. And, it's what we do. But staying in your own lane, Kat, is the most important thing you can do. And don't blame yourself, but just say, hey, what can I do to be better? What can I do
Yeah,
tomorrow that's going to be better than what I did yesterday, so that I'm actually stepping forward and into what it is that I really want.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not taking the shine off anyone else. I'm still, they still have my congratulations and support and everything, whether they do qualify their business or get promoted or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's just somehow at the back of my mind still.
Yeah, and that's normal, Kat. That's normal. So just
Mhm.
change the way that you see it, and ask yourself, what can I do to be better tomorrow? So how can I improve on that? So you already said that I can be inviting and following up more often. So what can you do practically that's going to change that? So does that mean that you invite one person and do one follow-up every day?
Yeah, I'm almost a bit picky with my follow-ups because I don't want to be spammy to anyone.
That's probably why it's not really happening for you. So you've got to change the way that you see that. The thing is with follow-ups is we're offering someone a service. And I talked about this on New Zealand training the other night. You've got to think about, so, if you went to someone for a product and you were really keen, say, for example, you wanted to buy, you wanted to buy an item of clothing or something. You're looking for, you might be looking for a swimsuit. Say, for example, you're looking for a swimsuit and you see these swimsuits at the online in this company, and you send them a message and say, hey, I really want to order this. How do I do it? Whatever. And then they come back to you and say, yeah, well, this is how much it is. And they give you all the details and all the information for it. And you say, great, I'll go back and I'll have a look and I'll work out my budget and I'll see what I can do. And they never go back to you. They never come back to you and they say, hey, Kat, just wanted to check in and see if you're still keen and, if you've got any questions around the swimsuit that you were looking at. How would you feel? Would you go, oh, yeah, I'm going to chase that person because I really want the swimsuit? Or would you go, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else because they obviously don't care? For me, this has happened to me and I've gone, do you know what, I'm not going to that person. I'm just going to go somewhere else every time. So that's what we're
Tanya?
offering. We're offering a service where that's part of our service is just doing a professional follow-up. Hey, I just want to know if you've got any questions after the information I sent you or the phone call that we had. I'd love to help you feel better. That's not being... Sorry.
Can I just add to that? Yep. That even though obviously I haven't got my own customers yet, I haven't got team yet.
You have, you've got your mum.
Well, yeah, I haven't cancelled that yet, but wants me to cancel it. She doesn't want to continue that.
Oh,
I've just postponed it, hoping my dad will get on board. But anyway, but in saying that, I have worked in the past in customer service type role as a massage therapist in a spa. And when we had people come in, we called them clients. And so even though I don't have a customer, but customers come and they buy a product usually and they leave. They may never return. But if you have a client comes, as you say, for the service. They come for you, they come for the program, they come for the service. And so for me, when I get my first client, I'll be calling them clients, not customers, because they come for the service, which is you.
That's right. And part of that service is your follow-up. It's all of it. It's customer care. It's all of that. It's the whole package.
Yeah, I just had that one friend is like warned me not to be pushy right from day one, and that's got stuck in my head.
So
Oh,
just change that because that's
Yeah,
his
let it
story.
go.
That's his story. That's not your story. That's when someone else puts their stories onto you, then that's not going to work for you. That's going to keep you staying in the same place. So, okay, is that your truth? Do you believe that?
No, not really. Well, I think I'm onto a good thing. It's just like when it's hard to explain.
Okay. Well, and remember too, Kat, that's one person that might be in a really bad place or having a really bad day. You know,
Yeah,
or maybe they're a little bit tactless and kind of like don't know how to say it in a nice way, but there are hundreds of people out there that want what you're offering. So it's really just putting yourself out there so that they will see that and come to you.
I just got something funny that this might help you, Kat. I don't know. You know how my mum and dad were really, don't do it. The pyramid scheme.
yeah, I've got that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. My mum has called me today and said, whatever I'm doing, I'm obviously working.
Whatever you're doing, what, Carrie?
It's obviously working.
It's amazing. Yay.
She said, she goes, I'm not 100% getting on board. I'm not blah, blah, blah. And I said, you don't need to. And she goes, but you're happy. You're smiling. Like, she goes, it's been about 10 years since I've seen that.
Oh, that's great,
And I
Carrie.
was like, okay. And she goes, and your father's happy too. And I was like, ah. So I've just started making follow-ups fun. So if that helps, Kat, make them fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Like, okay, I don't have a customer. I don't have anything else like that. But if you make it fun, it doesn't bring you down.
That's a really big one, Carrie. That's
Oh, it's a
so
huge
good.
one.
Yeah, it's massive. I know it's been massive because your mum's just been so negative, eh? Yeah. Yay. I'm really happy for you. That's so cool. All right, guys, any other questions before I let you go? End of month and all that? No? Cool. Okay. Go and have a great evening. We've got until 2 o'clock New Zealand time tomorrow, so that'll be 12 for you, Megan. Official end of month. Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.